Hey guys, today I'm gonna do some housewife confessions, and I'm also going to show you my laundry system. I am far from being organized in a laundry system simply because we don't really have a dedicated laundry room, which I know a lot of people don't have a dedicated laundry room, but we have 9 people living in our house, and our home is 1,200 square feet. So we don't have a dedicated laundry room, and we are adding on to our house. As you know, I've mentioned here before several times and shown lots of us working on the addition. So we will have a dedicated laundry room, and I have a very good vision for what I'm gonna do in the laundry room. So what I have done just with the space that we have is I've kind of started that system. So I thought I would show you what that system is. Like I said, you have to excuse the mess and the insanity because 9 people living in a small house is insane. And like I mentioned in my last video, we had an adult child move back home, which is totally fine, but that threw lots more stuff into the mix of 8 people living here. So adding him added a lot more clothes and his stuff that he had in his apartment. So we're coming into the laundry room. This is my new purchase. These were like $15 a piece. And I have actually had these before years ago. And they hold up pretty well. They're just like plastic they make. Better Homes and Gardens makes like a metal one, which was $30 something for one, but I needed 2. And I didn't really want to spend that much money just for getting us through until the addition. So this is what I got. And I don't wash the 2 adult boys' clothes go in here, and they didn't separate them, so now their clothes are combined. Towels are usually go here, but a blanket and rug got added. So this is Ellie's laundry here, which she's 5. This is mine and Jeremy's. This is the 3 little boys. So this system has helped me immensely keep up. And also it's enabled me to separate out the laundry and wash all the 3 little boys together so that they can fold and put theirs away, which they don't fold it, but they just put theirs away. And then mine and Jeremy's, I usually will throw Ellie's in with ours because that's easy to separate. And then the towels I like to wash by themselves. Some of us use cloth toilet paper, some of us don't. So I actually separate that out now into its own can so that I can wash it on hot water and kind of disinfect that. So I really like this system. I feel a lot more organized with it. And I also don't feel like I'm doing laundry all the time. So the machines are loud. Sorry, so this is the adult boys. So mine is Country Save powder I get from Azure. So what I do is when I wash and dry the 3 little boys is it goes in here. The adult boys' clothes stay back here, and up here this is their shelf. And then the towels and washcloths here, and Michaela's usually in charge of folding that once a week on Friday, so it just kind of gets added up. And this actually got washed yesterday and today, so she didn't get to do that this week. And then the kids' socks and underwear, pretty much all of them go in here unless I separate out. Well, mine and Ellie's and Jeremy's are usually separated out, but sometimes they get thrown in there. So that's the socks and underwear bin, and they just kind of pick out, and then sometimes we'll have everything put away, most of the time not. And then going into the bathroom, I have a hamper in the bathroom, and I'm just gonna go ahead and show you what that looks like. So the hamper in the bathroom here, and what I do is this gets delivered to the laundry room daily, and then I just separate out into the dividers. I wanted people to take their laundry to the dividers, but that just doesn't work. Nobody listens to that. So the bathroom gets spot cleaned daily, except for on the weekend. And so that gets brought to the laundry room, and then I divide it. And then this little can right here sits by our toilet, and it's for the cloth toilet paper. So then I can just grab that up and throw it into the towels load with some hot water. And I do a smaller load just to make sure it gets clean. So that's not like a magnificent laundry system, but it works for me right now and for this many people, and it accomplishes my goals, which is to wash the cloth toilet paper separately in hot water, because I don't wash our laundry in hot water, just towels. So it works for me, and maybe you can pick up a bit of tip from that and use it. I don't know. This chair swivels, so I'm trying not to swivel it, but I just wanted to sit like and have like living room chat, I guess, kind of like that's how I want to do. So I did not write these down. I'm just gonna pull them off the top of my head with kind of what I've been going through. And notice I didn't say stay-at-home mom confessions, I said stay-at-home wife, because and the reason why I say it like that is because I'm not a working wife, and these apply to what I'm gonna say applies to me and where I am in life as a stay-at-home wife. So the reason why I'm saying wife and not mom is because these are not mom confessions, these are wife confessions. The first one I think that I was thinking of in the bathroom when I was thinking of these was, it actually came from a song. It was inspired by a song I heard, and I can't remember the title of the song, but the song was basically, you don't know what it's like to be a man. And it just really, really resonated in my heart, because I think that a lot of times we as wives really don't know what it's like to be a man. And like I said, these are from my perspective. So if you don't agree with them, that's totally fine. And if you want to leave comments kindly down below, that's fine. And maybe speak from where you're coming from, that's totally cool. But I can only speak from my own experience and my own life. So that's what I'm doing, and that's what my channel is about, is authenticity according to Lainey. We don't know what it's like to be a man. He has to be the provider, and you know, he is the breadwinner in our home. And he's not just the provider financially, but he's the provider for me. He's the provider for me sexually, physically, protectively. And he, you know, men have so many aspects on their plate to life, and where do they go to rest? Where do they go to cry? Where do they go? Where's their reprieve? Where's their, like, we have our comfort in them, and where's their comfort? And so confession number one would be, I don't know what it's like to be a man. But I know that I can try as a wife to be that comfort for him, and to be a place of rest and refuge, and make our home a place of rest and refuge, and for me to not drain him, but when we come together, my goal, which is something I thought about actually the last couple weeks, my goal is to not take away from him, but give back to him. And that's my whole perspective. Like honestly, during the previous years of having babies and little kids, I can think back with such regret and remorse. And I've even, you know, that's probably my biggest regret in my whole life. Maybe that's confession number two. My biggest regret in my whole life is not being there for my husband. Even with little kids and raising kids, and him gone working 2 jobs, sometimes 3 jobs, and me being home, and him coming home tired, and me not being that rest and refuge for him, that's very regretful for me. I'm still raising kids. My youngest is 5, and I have 2 granddaughters, and you know, we don't see them as often as I would like, and I have 9 kids. So I've lived that life of having in the thick of littles and babies and toddlers and nursing and having more babies and all the thing. And I've looked back and I think how hard really would it have been for me to be that for him if that had been my priority. Do you think that he would come home judging how tired I was, or you know, what I was wearing necessarily, or all the things? No, he just wanted my heart, and he would have loved and appreciated, and it would have fed him for me to even be in the place that he was my priority when he got home. Yes, you still have to tend to the kids, but your husband can be your priority. It's not that hard. And I'm living that life now that he is my priority. And honestly, the kids have been put on the back burner, and they know they're not their daddy. They know that he is the love of my life, and they know that he is my number one priority, and I will choose to talk to him over them. I will choose to listen to him and let him finish what he's saying over them interrupting. They know that I will lay with him for as long as he wants to lay and cuddle, and they're welcome to cuddle too, but they know now that he is my priority. He is my number one. And that could have been that way the whole time. When I had littles, I could have been nursing a baby and still cuddling my husband. I could have been doing the things that I needed to do with the children, and him still being my priority, and him still feeling like my number one, so that he could come and have a place of comfort and refuge, and his wife nurturing him. So number one confession is, as a housewife, I don't know what it's like to be a man. Number two is, I didn't put my husband number one in our marriage. Number three is, I didn't care enough, which kind of is part of number two. I didn't care enough to prepare his food, and I did off and on, but I didn't make that a priority, and it should have been a priority. Like when he was going to work and working multiple jobs, I should have made it a priority to prepare food for him at all times. So that's confession number three. Women and wives, your husbands need comfort and refuge, and they also need taken care of in that way. They are taking care of you, going out and working and providing, and they get up even when they're tired. I get to sleep in. I can't say everyone gets to sleep in. Like I said, I'm trying to speak from my own perspective. I get to sleep in. He gets up at 4:30. So the least I can do, even if I had to stay up later than him, prepare him some food for him to have for the next day. So they're getting up. It kind of all leads back to, I don't know what it's like to be a man. So we really need to nurture and take care of our husbands. No, they're not your children, but they are number one in your life, and they are laying down and sacrificing so much in their life that we should take as good of care of them as we can. Number four confession is, it's really not that hard to meet sexual needs. Like, I can't separate out sexuality from being a wife, because yes, we were made to have children. Yes, we were made to be nurturers and caregivers and all those things, which, like I said, can be towards your husband also. But we were also made to be a sexual partner and fulfill needs. So I'm so beyond hearing women talk about, I don't want my husband to grab my butt. I don't want my husband to grab my boob. I don't want my husband to touch me, when I'm not in the mood. I don't want, it's like, really? Like, I am his. And I am supposed to be there for him. I want to be there for him. So if we change our dynamic in our mind as wives and realize we are their sexual satisfaction, most men want sex way more than women. I get it. And once again, I know, how hard that is when you have little kids. I'm gonna adjust this back a little bit because I sat up. But still, it doesn't have to be like a huge, long, drawn out thing for you to meet a sexual need. And if you're not being met with your sexual needs, and that's something that you need to be honest with and communicate with your husband, because if it's not going both ways, obviously there's an issue. And I can see, actually I told Jeremy this morning, I can understand how marriages honestly fail, because sex is like the glue that holds your marriage together. Like, yeah, you can be committed, and yeah, there's a choice to love, but part of being married is having sex, and not just having sex, but enjoying sex and having those desires met and fulfilled. So if that's not happening for you as a wife, then you need to communicate with your husband, because you should be like addicted to your husband. Like, you should be you know, from my own experience, not having sexual desires fulfilled for many, many years, and then that changing and now experiencing the other side of it has made a whole nother world open to me. And so I think that a lot of women will say they don't have a sex drive or they have like low libido or whatever, but I think, this is just me going out on a limb from my own experience, I think that the reason why that is because you're not being fulfilled sexually. So that's a huge aspect of being a wife and a husband, is that you're to meet each other's needs. And a woman who doesn't want sex all the time probably isn't being fulfilled, because like the testimonies and the things that I've read through researching this, once a woman actually is fulfilled, which, you know, a sex drive for a woman is like, you know, usually women come into their prime in their 40s, which I'm 44. So that's definitely true in my case. But also, I don't know that would have happened had Jeremy not taken the time to research and work on meeting my needs. So that whole dynamic, like, once again, you know, so the confession is meet your husband's sexual needs. Like, my confession is I didn't meet my husband's sexual needs because I didn't understand it. Also didn't understand that I was being neglected, kind of, you know. So once desires were being met, then there was no problem with a sex drive and coming together. But I would say, even if you're not there, you still are you're still your partner's sexual partner. You know, you're not just, you know, a wife to be a wife and, you know, to do all the things. The work, the relationship, and the sexual relationship is super important. So like, I'm just talking, but I think that, you know, I wish, you know, I would love to talk. I love to talk about sex, and I love to educate myself, and I love to, like, I know that probably sounds crazy and weird, but I love listening to people. I love listening to people's testimonies. I love to hear people's marriages healed. I love that my marriage has been healed. I just love to hear all the tips and tricks and all the things. Like, as a wife, make that your priority. Like, he's your priority. And listen, if you can do that, like, and he can take that, you know, he can take, like, most men are so starved that they can't even fulfill their wife's desires because it's like so far and few between. They're starved and they have no time, if that makes any sense. So, you know, work on that as a wife and stop complaining. You know, your husband's probably been shut off from you, like my husband was shut off from me because I was like, just the attitude of my heart, you know, of a don't touch me, you know, type of an attitude, especially if I wasn't in the mood or whatever, then, or if I was tired or whatever it would be, you know, so he left me alone. And then I lived a very lonely life, and he lived a very lonely life. So that's our testimony. That's part of our testimony of our marriage being healed, is we're no longer lonely people. And so when you are withholding and you are having a don't touch me attitude as a wife, that causes your husband to shut off from you, and that's not healthy. Okay, number 5. I'm going to try to recap these and see if I remember them. Number 5 would be, like I said, I'm just coming up with these off the top of my head from what I've experienced, but probably be, you're not your husband's mother or keeper or God, or however you want to say it. My personal experience was, if I thought something was not modest enough or godly enough, or you know, like if a song had cuss words, or if a song, you know, actually I didn't listen to music at all, hardly, and I couldn't really listen to music. That's a huge aspect, but we'll talk about that another day. But so if your husband is doing things and you're constantly judging him for those things, his music, his friends, what he does in his spare time, what he eats, you know, what he drinks, whatever it is, if you're judging your husband, you're not your husband's judge. And I'm not my husband's judge. And so that's number 5 confession is I'm not my husband. That'd be a better way to say it. I'm not my husband's judge. So that's a huge one. That's a huge one for your marriage, your health. A woman can't rest, and she can't be in rest if she's constantly judging her husband, and her husband is not under her to be judged. So that's all I'm going to say about that, number 5, because I actually want to take number 5 and use it as another topic for YouTube. So, okay, so let's recap. Okay, number 1, as a housewife, number 1 confession is I don't know what it's like to be a man. Number 2 confession, I regret not being there for my husband as a safe haven, a refuge, and a person that is giving to him instead of stealing from him. 3 was I needed to nurture and take care of my husband better. These are actual physical things like preparing his food, or maybe laying out some of his clothes, making his laundry easily accessible, those things. So number 3 is taking care of my husband. Number 4 is meeting sexual needs. From day 1 of marriage till the day you die, you are, if you're capable and able physically, mentally, to meet sexual needs, that actually should be number 1. Number 4 is meeting sexual needs. And number 5 confession of a housewife is that you are not your husband's judge. You are not over your husband. You are not their boss. You are not their judge. Okay, guys, that's it. 5 confessions of a housewife. And I hope that maybe one of them spoke to you. I would love for your comments down below. I would love for you to comment on maybe something that spoke to you, or something that you have grown in, or something that you resonated with you that you want to change, or whatever. I love feedback. Like I said, I love educating myself on things. I love to hear people share their testimonies and their stories. And, it makes me really think and makes me grow. And I don't know everything. And I just want to come on YouTube and my Instagram. I just want to share my life and where I've come from. And I don't want y'all to judge me, of course, right? And I don't want to judge you, but I want you to learn from me and my mistakes for being married for 25 years. And I want to learn from you. So I would love your feedback on Instagram and on YouTube, and in a nice, kind way. Obviously, I think that would be more productive. Even if I were wrong on something, if you came across in a good way, I could accept that from you much better than a negative way. And I just want to do more videos sharing my heart and where I've come from and where I am now, alongside maybe, what we're doing with our lives and stuff like that. If you have an idea of something you would love to see, I would love for you to leave that in the comments below too. I don't always get to respond to comments because I have a lot of children and a lot of things going on, and my husband is now my number 1, which he wasn't before. And so he takes a lot of time. And I love it. And I am not going to change that. So sometimes my daughter can respond to comments, my older daughter, and so don't be shy, if you want to even say something, and she'd be like, Mom. So whatever you want to leave below, I would love to have your feedback, and please don't have your feelings hurt if I don't get to answer, or respond, but I do read, and she reads them to me a lot of times. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. I did change some things, my profile picture, and we may have a name change coming. I'm not sure, but just kind of formulating as we go and as I feel inspired. I'm trying to be patient and not jump the gun on things, and kind of just really talk them out with Jeremy and really think about things and what I want to do. And we might have some ideas and plans for YouTube and Instagram that involve both of us, which would be very exciting for me. Something I have wanted to do for a really long time, because I love anything we can do together is better, in my opinion. I used to be a loner, and now I just want to do everything with him. So thank you for being here. And like I said, if you want to leave a comment below, please do. And I will catch you on the next video.